Hello, everyone. I'm so excited because we have such a special, amazing guest with us that you're going to get a power few minutes of some great advice. Welcome, everyone, the amazing Catherine Alonza. Whoop, whoop. For those of you who don't know, she is the founder of Javelina, and she will tell us more about that. And what you should also know is she is a member of our dolphin tank. And for those of you who don't know what our dolphin tank is, it is the prestigious group of amazing women who are going to be judging our Recreate Action Tank members pitch competition, and somebody's going to be earning some startup capital. And so you're a part of that, and thank you so much. We're thrilled to have you. Tell us all a little bit about you, Javelina, what you're passionate about right now.
Yeah, sure. So I originally am from the UK. I moved here in 2005 to do my master's degree in public administration at Arizona State University. And I thought that I would do my 2 years and go home. That was the plan. And really what I found here was a community that I love being a part of. I love the growth and the change that you witness in Phoenix. It has changed so much in the short amount of time that I lived here. And I fell in love with that really pretty quickly. And the other thing I fell in love with was the people here and the can-do, wanting to make things better, investment in community that I think is really prolific in Phoenix and also in America, in my experience. And so I ended up staying and started my company, Javelina, along with two founding partners, and we turned 10 next year. We started in 2012.
Congratulations. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. It is. It's a big deal. We're going to hopefully throw a big party because it is not an easy thing at all. And Javelina advances equality and human dignity through social, political, and economic change. That is why we exist in the world. And we do that by working with our clients, and our clients are nonprofits, businesses, political campaigns, and any kind of organization that is seeking to create systemic or social change in the world. And we help them do that by bringing their story to life and really elevating their story so that they can broaden their reach, engage with more people to deepen their impact. So we do a lot of marketing and branding work, a lot of story development, marketing strategy, and then we also do advocacy strategy. The way to think about Javelina is if a traditional marketing firm and a political consulting company had a baby, it would be us. And we really are, we sort of sit at the intersection of storytelling and systems change. And that's what we are all about. And I think for me personally, that was always in me, that wanting to really make a difference in the community. And it wasn't until I was older and I was an adult that I could really reflect on why and where that came from. And I think it actually happened when I was just 6 months old, because my older brother, Rory, died in an accident 3 weeks before his 3rd birthday. And while I don't remember him, and I certainly don't know what it's like to lose a child, I do know what it's like to grow up in a grieving family. And really what we were taught, me and my younger brother were taught, was that tomorrow isn't promised. You do not have any control over what happens to you. There is no safety blanket in life, but you do have this incredible power to make a difference in the lives of other people. And that really is what has manifested in my business, and what I do in my professional life and my personal life kind of all evolves around this idea of how do we make the world a kinder, more equitable place.
I love that because, you know, Melissa and I are all about create a better life and create a better world. And you've been doing this for 10 years. There's so many women on this group and in this page that they're just getting started. And so what was it like? Like, you had this idea, like what were some of the first things that you remember doing to get started?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, it was like me and my PJs at my kitchen table with no clients. Like, that's what it was like, you know, waiting for my husband to come home like a dog at the door. I was like so excited because I had no interaction. And there wasn't, for us, there wasn't necessarily this big vision of what we were going to build. It was more that we really saw ourselves as consultants, and where it started, as I think it does for many clients, for many companies, is with one client. We had our first client that first year. I forget actually what, I need to look up what our income was that first year, but it was, in the hundreds of thousands. And it was just the three of us founding partners. And it was really about making sure that we delivered for that small number of first clients. And we were very, very focused on the client outcome. I don't remember us really putting all of that much energy into anything else, like the operational side of things, or building systems, or even like how we were going to tell our story. The thing we did invest a lot of time into is developing the name. And that is probably one of the smartest decisions we've ever made. We knew that it was important that we had a name that was memorable and really evoked the kind of the emotion that we wanted to connect to. And 10 years later, it still serves us that way.
I love that. Was there a point in the 10 years where you thought, okay, we're doing the right thing, we've made it, this is, I'm so glad we started it? Was there a point where you're like, all right, it's working?
No.
No, I think that's really good for people to know, because there's sometimes people are like, how will I know? But I think you keep kind of going and doing the do, and so it's good to hear.
I think that what there has not been for me or for us is an island destination. There is not a finish line where you're like, oh, we finished. What there are benchmarks along the way when you feel encouraged, and when you feel like you're doing some stuff right. And those benchmarks come in all manner of ways. It could be, doing really fantastic work for a client, having really seeing the development of somebody that you employ, your first employee, finding a great contractor. Just in July this year, we introduced for our team, we have a team of 13 people. We just introduced retirement benefit, 401k. That was a benchmark. That was a benchmark where I was like, we are on a track. We're on a track, and the track is working. And it certainly wasn't a destination, but it was an I don't think that exists. And I think there was a moment for me, probably about 4 years in, when I was really, really, really stressed out. And all of a sudden I had this realization that 2010 Catherine would have fantasized about the problem that 2017 Catherine was dealing with, like would have been absolutely amazed at the size and the income level and the reach of the company and these problems. And so I think what I have picked up along the way is like, be grateful for the problems that you do have, because I do remember when it was me in my PJs at the dining room table.
So speaking of problems or challenges, what would you say has been a big challenge for you, and what did you do to kind of overcome that?
There are many. I think figuring out how to hire correctly is probably one of the biggest challenges. And I don't think that there's a magic solution or answer, and anybody that tells you that there is not being truthful. I think that it is about developing an intentional hiring process that meets your needs and your business. And so figuring out that has been really, really, really important. On a personal level, and this is something I continue to work on, but learning to not take things personally, that has been a really, really big one. And that helps with client management. It helps in the sales process. It also helps in building a team. And I have to consciously work on that one, but those are two of the big ones that come to mind.
Okay, so I know a lot of people take things too personally and sort of struggle, and it is a work in progress, mastering your mindset. Do you have one tip for people not to take it so personally?
Yeah, so this is a few things that are like very, very tactical things. So one is I literally tell myself, Catherine, this isn't about you. Like, don't take this personally. And then the other one, and this is going to sound so silly, but is actually to talk to yourself in the first person like that, like Catherine, because when the research shows actually that when you refer to yourself by your first name, it takes you out of living it through your eyes. So rather than experiencing something through your two peepholes in the front of your head, you're able to pull out and see things a little bit more objectively. And then the other thing I would say, and an idea of like pulling yourself out, is find the thing for you that creates physical distance. So for me, it's getting up high. So going to the top of a mountain or even the top of a building, like getting in an elevator and going to the top of a building and looking out of a window, and you can see lots of people and cars, and just getting some perspective of how your thing isn't everything. And your thing matters not at all to all these other people that have their thing. And for some people, it's getting in nature or spending time with their kids, or, you know, whatever it is that like interrupts. And I will say that for me, the last 18 months have been really challenging for this, because the majority of the time I'm in this room, and in this room, it's very easy to get sucked into the way I feel is the most important thing, the way I think is the most important thing. And so being aware of how the COVID environment is impacting you and finding ways to get yourself out of it, I think is really important.
Oh, that's such good advice. I love it. So what's kind of firing you up and getting you excited right now?
A bunch of things. So one of the most important things that we do at Javelina, our philosophy, I guess you would say, is that powerful storytelling starts with communicating why something is important to you. So knowing your purpose and knowing your values are really, really important for powerful communication. I also think that knowing your values on a personal level and how they show up in your life is actually just really integral for being a connected, happy, fulfilled human. And so I have been doing a lot of work with myself, with my team, with other people about discovering their own personal values and actually being able to articulate, you know, these are my 4 or my 3 personal values, and this is how I show up in those values every day. And that is really a big deal. So that's something I'm getting super pumped about. And then, you know, just some of the work that we're doing with our clients, like some of our clients are brand new organizations, and then others have 50-year histories and everything in the middle. And a lot, I think actually, so we have quite a few clients that are brand new, and they want to make sure that they get their purpose, their values, and their message down from the very beginning. And I wish we had done that. It's such a smart investment. And so getting to work with organizations at the very ground floor to be very intentional about the story they're telling, and recognizing that your message doesn't only shape your external marketing, but also your internal culture, that really gets me fired up every day too.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about this, and like the action tank is just refining your message, redefining, getting those values and the mission and the vision and everything in an alignment.
Yes.
And it sort of seems woo woo and maybe not so important, but it ends up being the foundation and the thing that you can go back to time and time again.
It does.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, so we're gonna do just a little fun, little rapid fire. First thing that comes up off the top of your head, where's your dream vacation?
Vietnam.
Vienna. Favorite food?
Ooh, Indian food.
Indian food, okay. Favorite social media platform?
Preferably LinkedIn.
And what is the best advice you've gotten from somebody else?
Somebody once told me that you have to protect your own boundaries because nobody else will do it for you. And that is advice. Figuring out how to do that is a whole other story, but the advice itself was powerful.
I love that. Is there anything else you want our audience of women entrepreneurs 50 and up on the move? Is there anything else like you would want them to know as they're creating, launching, building, growing, 10xing their business?
I think there's like 2 or 3 really quick pieces of advice I give, and of things that I have learned or looking back, what I wish I had known. So one is, don't worry about making mistakes. There's actually like something incredible about naivety, and naivety protects you because you don't know what you don't know, and you just do things. And at the beginning of Javelina, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. And I don't think I'd even go back and change it, because we did things we probably wouldn't have done otherwise. And so really embrace that naivety, embrace the not knowing of the first part of the journey. And then probably my number one lesson I've learned is do not compare yourself to other people. Don't compare your business to other businesses. Don't compare yourself to other business leaders. Keep your eyes on your journey and your race. And the only person that you should really be comparing yourself to is yourself. And when you're looking at other people, don't look for comparison, but look for inspiration.
I love that. I think that is so key and a perfect way to end. We so appreciate you. We can't wait to have you come teach in the Action Tank, and we can't wait to have you hear all these amazing businesses that you're going to get to inspire and maybe even fund. So thank you so much for being part of our Recreate community. We adore you. We'll put in the comments how to connect with you and find you. And thanks again, and have a great day.
Thanks so much.
Bye.